Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in again. You know, I've been doing daily videos for a long time now, and I'm getting all kinds of requests from you guys out there who want me to talk about certain topics, which I greatly appreciate. So guys, if you have topics you want me to talk about, throw it in the comment section. I'll put it on my list. Right now I've got hundreds of ideas, literally hundreds of ideas. I should probably just do a video and read off that list and then have you guys pick out which ones you want, because I think there's a ton of really good ideas. There's a ton of really good suggestions, and I just can't get to them all, which I guess is good because it means we have lots of topics for future videos. But one of the questions I keep getting routinely is whether or not it's worth spending money on custom-made baits, or should you just go buy the mass-produced baits, which are going to be a fraction of the cost, and have them work potentially just as good? And I'm kind of really mixed on this, guys. As you know, I'm a tackle junkie. I've got a addiction to tackle. I've got tackle hanging up all over the place. I love, love, love custom-made tackle. I think there's nothing cooler than small batch baits, right? So somebody is literally making baits one at a time, like this RP custom. I'd use this for a thumbnail the other day. You know, baits, just handmade baits that are produced one at a time. I love my big swim baits. This is a phony frog. Guys, I mean, you know, they're awesome. The thing is, because they're individually made, you pay for it when it comes to price. It's not uncommon to spend hundreds of dollars on a bait if you want a bait bad enough. I mean, if you're talking custom crankbaits, you're probably talking $25 or more. If you're talking custom made big swim baits and glide baits, then you're probably talking, you know, you're in the $100 range. And that's how it is for everything. I mean, if you're talking plastics, if you're going to a plastic maker that's hand pouring plastics, you know, you're going to pay up to, you know, well over $1 per bait if you're talking just even for worms. So is that ridiculous? It's a lot to pay for a bait, but you probably are getting something that's one of a kind and runs differently than what you can get from the mass-produced market. You're definitely going to get color schemes and paint schemes that look a lot more realistic, in my opinion, or not even realistic, but are just a lot more unnormal. I mean, just not the basic colors. If you're a mass producing larger company like a Berkley, you can't necessarily come out with an acid frog color like this because it's not going to sell nearly as well. And they need to come out with batches like the spring craw color that they know is going to sell. And in this Frittside, I mean, they've got, I'm going to guess, 30 different colors. So I mean, really, you can get almost the color that you're looking for. But you're not going to get some of the cool paint schemes that you can get from a custom painter or a custom crankbait maker. It's just, that's how it is. So, you know, the positives are you're getting a bait that the fish probably haven't seen before. I will say one negative is because all of those baits are made differently, they might be made the same, but made individually, they may not be running the exact same way. If I had two of these made, I may have one that runs a little deeper, one that runs a little shallower, one that wobbles more. Whereas when you're talking about your mass-produced baits, these are made, you know, so specifically that they all really are going to run almost exactly like each other, which to me is a huge benefit. But having said that, you can get a custom maker to make a bait do exactly what you want it to do, which you can't do with the larger mass-produced baits. So, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say that they're not justified, because honestly, if you're on the other end, if you're making the baits, and I have spent lots and lots of time making baits over the years, the only thing I have not done is actually poured plastic. That's the only thing I haven't done, but I have watched enough World's Worst Fishing and stuff like that, YouTube channels like that, to watch how time intensive it is to make pour plastic baits. I mean, you could be talking about a 6-inch plastic worm, and these guys are sitting there literally putting drops of plastic in very specific places to make a plastic worm look exactly how it should look. So when somebody's sitting there spending 15 minutes of just pouring plastic on one worm, and they do 4 worms in a mold, and it takes them an hour to do that one mold, yeah, I think it's justified to charge several dollars per bait. I mean, to make it worth their while, they need to charge that. On the other side of it is, if you're the user of that plastic worm, is that plastic worm actually going to outproduce a similar colored Berkley power bait, that is mass produced and you can buy a pack of for the cost of one worm? That's really up to you guys out there. If you think that is going to give you the advantage, it may be worth it. But I'm going to say the majority of the time, it's probably better just going with the mass-produced baits, which you're going to get a really good consistency out of. But having said that, guys, you're talking to somebody who collects so much tackle, and if I see something I like, I generally end up buying it. And a lot of the times over the years, I've bought custom-made stuff that is killer, and I've bought custom-made stuff that I was really not happy with, and it's because it hasn't been truly tested out and it didn't run the way it was supposed to run, because it is a handmade item. So it's really up to you guys. The sport is as expensive as it's ever been. It's only continuing to get more expensive. So from my standpoint, I think you're probably better off, if you're looking to save money, just buying the basic stuff versus going out and buying the one-off custom-made stuff. But for those of you who want to be using something different, that's the best way to do it. And for those of you that want to have a bait made specifically for a scenario that you're looking for, a custom bait maker is the one who's going to do it for you. You're not going to be able to go to the bigger companies and say, make this. They're not going to do it for you at that point. So guys, I hope this was helpful. I'm sorry that I don't really have a very cut and dry answer. It really comes down to, I don't think that the majority of the time custom made stuff will outperform what you can buy from a mass produced company. But again, I'm guilty of buying lots of stuff from custom makers. So I've got it all, and I use what I feel like I need to use in certain situations. I will say I do save a lot of that custom made stuff specifically for tournament scenarios if I feel like it's going to help me. I don't generally go and spend a lot of money on hand-poured plastics and custom crankbaits and things like that, and then pull them out just to beat them on the rocks when I'm out fun fishing. I usually generally save that stuff for times when I feel like it really counts. So guys, I hope this was helpful. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, and stay tuned for tomorrow's video.